Hi everybody, this is BB. Welcome to BB Love Sports. Turn up the volume because the playoffs are here. Okay. Is your team in? Make some noise. And if your team is not in, make some noise. All right. So welcome everybody to the show. I'm out and about. So thank you so much for being here. One time if your team made it in to the playoffs. And one time if your team did not. Because look, you still rep your team, right? So one time for repping your team. All right, let's turn that on one more time for everybody. All right, so that's Cutting Ties by Emma Brammer, remix on the Sirius XM channel, the Chill Station. One time for the Chill Station. So you all make sure you check out the artist because that jam is the jam. All right, Cutting Ties. That is the FVHM remix. Emma Brammer. All right, so I love representing the artist. I love showing love to the artists. And so, look, after all of these games, we got to week 17. A lot of people are going to be cutting some toys. All right? Like you said, you're going to cut some toys. You're going to cut some toys. You're going to cut those ties. But, you know, you get over it. Most people, they stay right with their team. Now, there are some who's going to defect. But, you know, win, lose, or draw, you stay with your team. And let me go ahead and say this right now. Because I should have said it in the beginning. But the jam was so smooth, I was just like, I got to bump this. All right. So, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. We made it to 2021. And though some people were like, over 2020, I get it. But now here's the thing. If you search within, 2020 caused a lot of us to slow down for the good of ourselves. It caused some revelations, some reconnections. It caused us to see the resiliency in ourselves, to be resilient. Because so many people lost their lives. So many people are fighting for their lives. Still trying to understand what's happening in this pandemic that has carried on into 2021. So I just said it's been like a resilient year. Absolutely. For me. So from me to you, thanks for locking in. I'm BB Lolita Davis. And you're at BB Love Sports, where sports and gaming is exquisite fusion. So it's been quite a year for a lot of us. For those who are fans, those of us who are sportcasters, for those who are the players, families, other players. I mean, just everyone involved in sports. We're going to talk and just keep it on sports. It's just been a moment, you know, because like a lot of my gigs got cut, which I was all for, even though the pockets got hit, the cachet got hit, but my life still is here. And the players on college level, those who opted out, they're still here. It was a different way of reporting when you had to go on set, where many in the NFL and college opted not to have fans there. So then you had to do different style reportings pre-game and post-game interviews and while doing your gig. So it's been resilient, and it's been just a different type of year. And with cases and stuff going up still, I still say to all that, we just gotta just take it one day at a time. All right, week 17. This season took like forever to get to where we are now, which is going into the playoffs. I got me some Burger King on deck. I got my Whopper. I got some nuggets. So I'm going to be eating and talking. Okay. My picks, for the most part, I did not get obliterated. I rung in my New Year lovely. It was a house divided. And I mean, I got bombed on. And then he was like, you're right. You're right. But he has his own scenarios. So, one love to all of the house dividers out there. We got a good house divided. Especially when you talk about food. If you go check out my official Twitter, where you got the cheeseburgers, the cheeseheads, the Packers. That's me. And they had the helmet lined up with the Eagles. Had the cheesesteak and the steak fries. For the Packers side, it had the cheeseburger and the tater tots. So that's a good house divided when you talk about eating. Okay? But here's how I picked them. Okay, started with the AFC East. In those games, I'm just going to start with the games, period. We'll get into the standings, and then we'll get into the playoff picture. Jaguars, Colts. I went with the Colts. But as electric as the Jaguars have been, there's something going on amiss, and I don't think it has anything to do with the team. I think this is something coming deeper than just the players. And they need to get that straightened out. Because we finally got to see the Jaguars come electric and then come back into this, what so many don't want to see, especially Jaguar fans. But the Colts rocked it out, 28-14. Then the Cardinals and the Rams. I picked the Rams. Did not get obliterated one time. And that was 18-7. And the Packers and the Bears. I'm a Packers fan, but I usually set aside any of my personal, and go with what makes sense. But what made sense was the Packers. My team, go Pack Go, face it off with the Bears. This was not going to be an easy win because the Bears have a really good defense there. This was a game that the Packers must have won, and they did that. They took care of business. Score was a little bit too close in there for me at times, and like I was, saying during my downtime in House Divided Land, I was like, see, the Eagles, y'all beat down, just beat down. Ravens, Chiefs. It's a lot of teams, they don't care if you got 3 or 0. They're just going to keep beating you down. Send a message. Patriots used to be like that too. The Packers have not been like that. And I really wish that they would. You got to go in there and send a message for your next opponents. But they took care of business. 35-16. Titans and Texans. I picked the Titans, but I did say you can check out my IG for the picks, and I was decided the Texans could do a shockaroo. Well, they tried, because this score was close, 41-38. So now, Deshaun Watson, talking about that a little bit, we see J.J. Watt, how he says what he says, but it cannot just be one person. So there's a lot of tightening up that they need to do, definitely, because this has not been a good season for the Texans. The Saints and the Panthers, I did a switcheroo on my pick. Of course, I picked the Panthers because I like to mix it up in my picks, but I did say the favorite goes to the Saints. Saints took care of business, 33-7. Washington and the Eagles. Oh my God, I'm going to try not to stay on this long. This was the most disturbing, disgusting, ignorant, when you look at it one way. Because, yeah, Jalen Hurts wasn't playing lights out, but these 14 points was by Jalen Hurts. And it was a 3-point game, and then you take them out and put in it made no sense. Then the press conference, Peterson for the Eagles is going to say, I want him to get some snaps. Some snaps. Where was all this? You want him to get some playing time in the rest of the games because the Eagles' record is dismal. So why now, when Jalen Hurts was hot, he was hot enough for 3 points, 2014, when they took him out. And that just dashed the whole Giants win. So then some people said that Peterson did that because of the Giants rivalry, just to keep them and shut them out. But the realistic part is the draft coming up. They would have been ranked 11. Now they're ranked 6. So in my house about it, saying, yeah, they could see that part. But listen, it's just really crazy. You know? One thing about these new quarterbacks, when put in these situations, it takes time to gel with your team. Let's not forget, we have COVID. We're in a pandemic. We're still in a pandemic. They got even a new strain of COVID out here. Nobody didn't get no preseason playing time to cohesively get with their teams. So I'm still for Jalen. There are a lot of things that he needs to work on, just like Tua. There's a lot of things that Tua needs to work on. But my goodness, you got to give these quarterbacks some time. And even still, Deshaun. Okay. Let me get another chicken nugget. Welcome to the show. BEBÉ loves sports, where sports and gaming is exquisite fusion. Giants. Well, let me back up here. Vikings and Lions. Let me back up. Vikings and Lions, 37-35, very close. I was pulling for the Lions, so I did get obliterated there. Buccaneers and Falcons. Of course, Buccaneers got everything solid and cohesive. 44-27. Now that you also know, Tom Brady, no matter where he was going, he takes care of business with his cohesive brotherhood around him, and a good brotherhood too at that. Jets, Patriots. My wild card was the Patriots. I still was going in for Cam. My house divided was like Jets. So I was like, Cam and company still have a lot to prove, even though they're not in the playoffs. Patriots will win that 28-14. Dolphins and Bills. Without a doubt, I went with the Bills. Bills said coming in on the season that they were going to be hot. And they are. 56-26. That's how you beat somebody down. Steelers, Browns. House about it was like, you're trying to tell me the Browns? I'm like, yes, I'm telling you the Browns. Browns trump the Steelers. Give them another L. 24-22. Browns were hot after their matchup with the Ravens. So, still didn't get obliterated. Cowboys, Giants. I went with the Cowboys. Giants would pull that win 19-23. Ravens would beat out the Bengals 38-3. Jaguars and Colts 14-28. See, let me get myself on track here. But I still say what I said about the Jaguars. Cardinals and Rams. Went with the Rams 18-7. But next year, keep a good eye on the Cardinals. Saints and Panthers. Again, Saints took care of business 33-7. And by that pick got obliterated because I thought it was going to be the Panthers to kind of give a little upset. Packers and Bears 35-16. Let me get that score right. But they needed to take care of business. It was a must win for the Packers, and they knew that. And all of these teams that are not in, they were trying to seal the daggers. Point blank period. Chargers and the Chiefs. I went with the Chiefs. But I did say, you know, throughout the season, watch those Chargers. I was like, what are you talking about? Well, they did a stunner, even though Chiefs didn't have the starters, but still 38-21. Seahawks, 49ers. Seahawks took care of business. Russell Wilson and company, 26-23. Raiders would take care of business with the Broncos, but you know, 32-31. And then that Washington Eagles game, 2014, just mind-blowing, crazy town. But is that what you still do just to get the, you know, 6-pick draft? That this is how you're going to be treating your players? It sucks. And like I threw in like a scenario. My quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. You see how long he waited in that draft? And ever since then, he was sticking it to him. Elite quarterback. So sometimes it's not about the high ranking in the draft, because you don't act like the Eagles don't have some heat already to them. You know what I mean? Like, don't act like they don't. So we'll just have to see about that. So now when you look at the standings, these are exciting times. Super Bowl is going to be in my city, Tampa, Florida. So it's going to be like a real rush. You know, I love that. AFC East. Bills clinched the division, 13-3. AFC West, clinching the conference, the Chiefs, even with that second L. AFC North, Steelers, despite the 4 L's, they clinched their division. In the AFC North, the Ravens, the Browns, clinched divisions. So now you're going to be seeing that head-to-head back there too. Blood in the water. Daggers. AFC South, Titans would clinch the division. The Colts clinched the wild card. Going over to the NFC East, which was just all kinds of dismal, but still. Washington would clinch the division. NFC West, the Seahawks would clinch the division. The Rams would clinch the wild card. NFC North. The North. King of the North. Any of you Game of Thrones fans? My Packers. They clinched the conference, okay? Then the Bears, they're sitting and they clinch a wild card. NFC South. The Saints clinched the division. The Buccaneers with Tom Brady and company, they clinch the wild card. All right, so now let's go see what this means. Where are these matchups? And who is going to be getting the obliteration and the elimination? Well, we won't have to wait much longer, because on Saturday on the 9th at 1:05, the Colts will face off with the Bills. This is going to be the NFL wild card round. Then Saturday at 4:40 p.m., Rams face off with the Seahawks. Wild card round Saturday night. All eyes definitely going to be on this game. Buccaneers will face off with Washington. Woo! Now, in those Saturday lineups, because Chiefs got to bye, Packers got to bye. Colts and Bills. I'm going with the Bills. Rams and Seahawks. This is going to be so dicey. Whew. I'm going with the Seahawks, but this could be a shockaroo and a what in the world. Not saying that the Rams couldn't, but the favor is tilted toward the Seahawks. But this could be a shockaroo right there at 4:40. We'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Buccaneers and Washington. Going for Buccaneers. They definitely need to make sure they play lights out. I don't know. Whew, that will be a shockaroo. I don't see it, but you never know. I'm going with the Buccaneers. Now, on Sunday at 1 p.m. hour, is going to be the Ravens and the Titans. This is going to be a matchup from last year. You know how it went down. Those Titans dashed on those Ravens. We're going to see if we get a deja vu, or it's going to be a switcheroo. Okay? So that's going to be a really good one too. Ooh. Then the Bears and the Saints. It's going to be at 4:40, and then the Browns and the Steelers for that Sunday night. Now check it. These are the wild card rounds before you get into the divisional. For Sunday, I'm going with the Titans. But you know that the Ravens are going to want to stick it to them since they got stuck. The Bears and the Saints. Going with the Saints. This would be a shockaroo for real if the Bears. But you don't know. And then the Browns and the Steelers. Now listen. I called it with the Bears. I mean with the Browns over the Steelers. Week 17 last week. But now we're in a different situation. I'm going with the Steelers in this wild card. Because they got all of the assimilation. I know you're like, what are you talking about, assimilation? They got all of their weapons there. They didn't get to where they got undefeated for so long until they start getting these L's. So that momentum and that fire should be there. But then you're talking about the Browns, who has fire and just dealt them an L, even though, you know, all the weapons wasn't so the Browns need not get a false sense of, you know, reality. Because those Steelers are there to clinch and keep moving forward. So this is going to be some interesting football. We got some good news. I'll be doing live Twitter tweeting on these games. But we got some breaking news here that in the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones is saying that the QB has leverage in his contract talks. Because, you know, he's on that free agent, unrestricted free agent type vibe. Okay? Then we got the news on Antonio Brown. He got that $250,000 bonus for week 17. And then we got some more breaking news here. The Cleveland Browns head coach, Kevin Stefanski, he tests positive for COVID-19. So if he's unable, which you test positive, he's not going to be there on that field. So then that's giving the Browns even more momentum. I'm still rocking with the Steelers. All right. There are a few whispers in the water, like, will Cam, did he do enough here to shine a light where he can stay with the Patriots? Or is that a done? With the Packers, are they ready to go into the spotlight of possibly facing off with somebody in the Super Bowl? A lot of people are already talking, could this be a Brady Rodgers Super Bowl? Which would be so hot. There are talks that if the Bucks get there and Tom Brady wins 7, will this be enough for him and he just says, I retire? We'll just have to see. But what is for real is that congratulations to all who made it. And for those who did not, you just regroup and you keep going, because these months are going to fly through and then we'll be back to new seasons. But we're going to be talking some more about what the city of Tampa, my city, is doing and getting ready for the Super Bowl. What are going to be some of the precautions, because, you know, we're still in a pandemic. And you just have to keep that real about it. I can say it's a beautiful city to have the Super Bowl in. Beautiful weather. And I'm excited to see who is going to go. That would be really dope to see a very good matchup, and nothing so easy blowout, but something that just has you like, you know. But anyway, I thank you so much for locking in, everyone. Make sure you keep your head up, check on your loved ones, make sure you stay safe, and that you take some time to do your own mental health, mental checks. It's so good to be in the new year. It's a good thing. It's a blessed thing. And we're going to be having a lot more different looks coming in for BB Love Sports. So I want you to make sure that you stay locked in and rock in with me on that. So thanks for locking in. More to come with me, BB, where sports and gaming is exquisite fusion. Keep it locked on Instagram and Twitter, because I will be doing my thing. Some more to come, and peace and love.